Hello and welcome to my homestead. Today I want to focus on my chickens, specifically the question that I get asked a lot. Is it worth keeping chickens? So let's get this straight out. If your purpose is to get cheap meat and cheap eggs, I can tell you right now it's a lot cheaper for you to go to Costco or to Walmart, get yourself a chicken and get yourself a dozen eggs. Chickens are not cheap unless you plan to set up and run it for at least a decade. So let's go over some of the expenses associated with chickens. First, there is the chicken coop. Now, not everyone is going to buy one. Maybe they're very good at construction and they have a lot of wood available, or they can buy wood and construct it yourself. If you can build one yourself, it will probably cost you a couple $100 worth of wood plus hardware. Now, I keep mine protected from the elements, so I have tarps. The tarps will tear, they will have holes in them every few months, and this is a heavy duty tarp. It's up to you if you want to do that. Not everyone is as protective of chickens as I am. But if you do one, so keep that in mind that you will need to replace at least twice a year because the other birds will get onto them. Sometimes the rest will try to chew through them. And of course there is the winterizing. I put the plastic cover on the sides to protect them from the cold wind at winter. Now there is also the supplies such as the feeders and the watering cans. Not to mention the actual food. Now, unless you have a rooster which will provide your fertilization for the eggs and you will get constantly new additions to your chicken brood, my guess is you will be either buying new chicks, getting fertilized eggs, or buying fertilized eggs, or buying new chickens that are already pullets. All of them need to be fed. Chickens eat a lot of food. Let's get this straight. They do need a lot of supplies. Now, not everyone feeds them. They think, oh, I'm going to let them out on fresh pasture and they're going to feed themselves by digging grubs and all of that. Well, mine are doing the same thing. Yes, you can see they've dug up a lot of stuff. But that doesn't mean that they do not need balanced food. Otherwise, their health really suffers. They don't get enough calcium, they don't get enough protein, meaning they will not lay eggs as much as you need them to. And that's another thing. Chickens need at least 12 hours of sunlight for them to start laying eggs. Meaning, in the winter, they slow down or stop completely. They also will molt. They're changing their feathers, as you can see. Some of them look really ragged right now because it's molting season and I have feathers everywhere. When they're molting, they do not lay eggs. This is their bodies readjusting. They need to reset their calcium. They need to get all of the protein they can get to build new feathers. This is the very volatile time for them. Now, assuming you have enough money to keep all of them healthy, you will go to the vet. Vets are not cheap. Let's get this again, very, very important fact. If you're gonna take your birds to a veterinarian to either check up or to find out if something goes wrong, last time I took a chicken to the vet, it cost me $600 and the chicken did not survive. So use your judgment. For $600 you can buy all of my flock 10 times and still have money left over. So again, if you're thinking that this is going to be cheap eggs, cheap meat, think again. You're not getting that for cheap. This is not the way to do it. It's a lot easier to go and buy a $5 chicken from Costco, rotisserie chicken, and get yourself a dozen eggs. But if you want to know exactly what goes into the eggs that you're getting. No pesticides, no herbicides, only natural food that you're feeding your chickens, and you know exactly what you're feeding them. Then you can at least have your flock and you can continue it. And again, it depends what your goal is. Is it worth it? That's up to you. Keeping chickens is not a cheap way to get food. It is a sustainable way. It is a way for you to ensure that if there is an avian flu around, maybe yours will survive without getting it, if you're protective of your birds. And of course, if you're like me and I made a mistake of making them into my pets, I can't eat chicken meat anymore. So I have become a vegetarian. My girls are my pets, and I give the eggs away when they do lay them. But that's me. Not everyone is sentimental. Not everyone cares about their birds as much as I do. But I know, at least from my perspective, I cannot have any animal, any livestock of any kind, because they will automatically become my pets. So lesson learned from me: once these chickens live out their lives naturally, they will die off, and that will be the end of me. I will not have any more chickens. Overall, it has cost me a few $1,000s at this point over the course of the last 2 years, almost 3 years now. So in May will be 3 years since I have them. It cost me several $1,000s just to get them, keep them, set up everything, and keep them healthy. Not everyone will want to do that. So if you don't care whether or not your chickens are healthy, if they get proper nutrition, and if you just let them roam, not worrying about hawks or not worrying about predators such as hawk or raccoons or anything like that, foxes, by all means, get yourself a couple dozen chickens and see what survives and get the eggs that way. But be realistic on your expectations. So I hope this will provide a little bit more information for those who are thinking of getting their own chickens. And on that note, thank you for joining me, and until next time.